Welcome back to Tea Talk Tuesday. Okay, today we are going to smell the roses. All right, maybe not smell the roses, but we're gonna taste some roses. It's possible you've heard of rose hips before, but if you haven't, today I'm gonna cover the basics so that you understand where they come from and what they can offer. So first off, rose hips are considered a nutritive herb. And nutritive herbs contain high levels of a particular vitamin or mineral, or in some cases they can contain modest levels of several different nutrients. So these herbs help to nourish our bodies, they help correct deficiencies, and they really bring us optimal health. And because of that, they're often used as part of a general health and well-being approach to holistic wellness. So there's many different nutritive herbs that are used today in cooking, especially in broths, but also consumed as tea. Now, this is just one of the many nutritive herbs that we're going to talk about today is rose hips, but there are many others. Now, rose hips are part of the rose family. And what they are the fruits that develop on rose bushes. They almost look like little round red cherries. Sometimes they can have a darker purple color. And believe it or not, these rose hips contain more vitamin C per ounce than almost any other natural source. Now, they also have antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, and antihistamine bioflavonoids that work in synergy with that vitamin C. And what those bioflavonoids do is they improve the vitamin C's ability to strengthen our connective tissue, they boost our immune system, they promote healing, and they can even boost our cellular energy. So there are definitely some health benefits to incorporating rose hips into your overall holistic approach to your health. Now, what do they taste like? Well, they have a very pleasant flavor. Actually, that might be similar to like a slightly tart raisin or a tomato, and they combine really well with hibiscus and other red fruity herbs. Now, as I mentioned, the most common ways of including nutritive herbs are, like rose hip, into your daily routines are by adding them to soups and broths, but also by adding them to tea. So, what does Sipology offer that includes rose hip? Let's take a look. First and foremost, they have strawberry jammin', they have an Italian orange soda, a summer berry sangria, a cherry sangria, Better Be butterscotch, and then they have a magical mango. And all of these teas are part of the fruit tea line that Sipology offers, which is no surprise considering it mixes well with hibiscus and other red fruity herbs. But these fruit teas are all made with natural fruit ingredients and they're caffeine free. So they make a great option for decaffeinated iced teas, especially this time of year as we get into the summertime and you're looking for those cold, refreshing beverages. So what I want to do is I want to show you how easy it is to make an iced tea using this magical mango tea that has the rose hip in it. So what I'm using here is the perfect tea pitcher to make this tea. Now before we get started, so the magical mango, it has apple pieces, mango pieces, elderberry pieces, orange pieces, rose hip, and then the pineapple pieces, along with hibiscus petals. So that's what's in it. There are 0 grams of added sugars in here. It's all natural fruit. So what we're gonna do is using our perfect tea pitcher here, we are going to add about 3 scoops using this 1 pot of teaspoon here. Now this 1 pot of teaspoon, you guys, holds about 1.5 tablespoons of tea. And that's equivalent to about 4.5 teaspoons. So if you're making a pot of tea that's about 32 ounces, this would be good for 1 32-ounce pot of tea. Now our pitcher here holds 64 ounces. So in theory, we're going to use 2 scoops and put it into our pitcher. Now, I'm actually going to use 3 scoops, and here's why. Because I am going to cold steep the tea instead of hot steep the tea. So by cold steeping it, it's going to take a little bit longer, and we really want to draw out those fruity tones, so I'm going to use 3. So we're just going to scoop, and I'll show you sort of what it looks like. So you can see all the fresh fruit pieces in here. we're just gonna put right into the bottom of our pitcher here, 3 scoops of the tea. Now, before I put the water in, I want to tell you a little bit about the pitcher here, because this pitcher is made out of borosilicate glass. So you can actually pour hot water directly into this, or you can use cold water. But when you're using it on hard surfaces, like on our countertop here, you want to be very, very careful because it is glass. It could break if you slam it down. So that's why I'm using the trivet underneath. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add about 3 cups of cold water directly into the pitcher. And I'm not gonna fill it up all the way. So we're just gonna add about that much. And then what I'm gonna do is let this steep in the refrigerator overnight, just like this. And then what's gonna happen in the morning is we're gonna have a super concentrated iced tea here, and then we'll add the rest of our water and some ice to this, and that'll make the iced tea. Now, in this particular pitcher, you don't have to strain out these fruit pieces, because there is a strainer built right into the top of the pitcher here. So when you put that top on there and you pour, that strainer keeps those pieces from coming out into your glass. So it's really awesome. Now, the great thing about using a fruit tea for an iced tea like the Magical Mango, aside from the rosehip benefits, is it's decaffeinated, so you don't have to worry about over steeping it. In fact, the longer you steep it, the more fruitier it's gonna taste. So you can easily steep this for a super long time. So that's it. That's how easy it is to make iced tea. Like I said, put this in the refrigerator just like this overnight. In the morning, fill it up with more water, add your ice to it, and pour your glasses, and you're ready to go. Now, one thing that you could do if you have the brew and serve bottles, which are these little glass bottles with the tops, is once you brew it, you could fill up your brew and serve bottles and pop those in the refrigerator. And then when you have to go somewhere, if you want to take one with you, just grab the bottle and take it with you. And you're good to go. And those brew and serve bottles actually come in a 4-pack for like 20, I don't want to speak out of turn here, $25 for 4 of them. So that's a great deal. The other thing you can do with that is actually you could brew a couple of different flavors, and then you've got different flavors in your bottles to take with you. Now, one question I often get is, what about sweeteners, right? I don't like to sweeten our tea. We prefer unsweetened. I just like to add fresh fruit pieces right into this before I drink it. But if you like to sweeten it, in the morning when you add the cold water and the ice cubes, go ahead and add some sweetener in there, whatever your sweetener of choice is. Add some sweetener in there. Start with a small little bit at a time until it reaches the flavor or the taste, you know, fits your taste preferences, so to speak. Another tip, if you don't want to wait, now minimally you would want to steep this for 3 hours. So I say steep overnight, minimum 3 hours. If you don't want to steep it all night long, maybe you've got friends coming over or family and you want to have a pitcher ready, you can hot steep this in hot water for 10 to 15 minutes, and then in about the same amount of water, 2 to 3 cups of water, and that'll create that concentrate really quickly using hot water. So then after that, you would add in the cold water and add the ice and then serve it as iced tea. Super easy. Now, next week, if you come back and you join me on Tea Talk Tuesday, I'm actually going to talk about the differences between hot and cold steeping. Aside from just the speed to service, meaning like you want iced tea in 15 minutes instead of 12 hours, what are the main differences between hot and cold steeping, and why would you do one over the other? So that'll be next week. So come back next week for Tea Talk Tuesday when we talk about that. But that's it, you guys. That is rose hips. Those are the quick benefits of it. And the teas you can find it in, and this is how to brew a magical mango iced tea.